You're lying there, the house is completely silent, but your brain is screaming. You glance at the clock. It's exactly 3:14 a.m. Your heart is beating just a little too fast. You're exhausted. Your body feels impossibly heavy, but your mind is running an absolute marathon. You're suddenly analyzing anxious thoughts, replaying embarrassing memories from 10 years ago, and frantically building a mental to-do list for tomorrow. You try to force your eyes shut. You try to find a cool spot on the pillow, but it's entirely useless. You are officially trapped in the 3 a.m. wake-up club. If this happens to you once in a blue moon, it's annoying. But if you are waking up between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. night after night, feeling perfectly wide awake like an internal fire alarm just went off, your body is trying to send you a massive, glaring warning signal. And no, it's not insomnia in the traditional sense, and it's definitely not some paranormal witching hour. It is a biological glitch. More specifically, it is a severe cortisol glitch. Cortisol gets a terrible reputation in the wellness world. We call it the stress hormone, and we aggressively blame it for belly fat, anxiety, brain fog, and total burnout. But cortisol is actually your body's built-in cup of coffee. It's a completely natural, non-negotiable survival chemical. In a healthy, balanced body, cortisol operates on a beautiful, predictable curve called the circadian rhythm. It's supposed to be at its absolute lowest point right around midnight, keeping you deeply anchored in restorative sleep. Then it should slowly start rising in the early morning hours, finally peaking around 8 a.m. to naturally wake you up, make you alert, and give you the drive to get out of bed. But right now, if you're staring at the ceiling in the dark, your curve is completely broken. Your body is prematurely hitting the panic button in the dead of night. Why is it doing this? Because, on a deep physiological level, your brain actually thinks you are in imminent danger. Let's talk about the first massive hidden trigger for the 3 a.m. wake-up club, the middle-of-the-night blood sugar crash. You might not think of yourself as having blood sugar issues. You might even eat relatively well. But if you eat a dinner heavy in refined carbohydrates, or if you have a sugary dessert, or even just pour yourself a glass or two of wine to unwind before bed, your blood sugar rapidly spikes. As you fall asleep, your pancreas releases a massive wave of insulin to shuttle all of that excess sugar out of your bloodstream. Because the insulin response was so aggressive, it causes your blood sugar to plummet a few hours later. When your blood sugar drops too low in the middle of the night, you enter a state called hypoglycemia. Your primitive brain literally perceives this sudden drop as a life-threatening emergency. It thinks you are starving to death in your sleep. So what does it do to save you? It signals your adrenal glands to dump a massive dose of cortisol and adrenaline into your system. This stress hormone cocktail is designed to force your liver to immediately release stored glucose to keep your organs functioning. This sudden chemical dump is exactly what jolts you awake at 3 a.m. with a racing heart and racing thoughts. You aren't waking up because your body is done sleeping. You're waking up because your body just administered a biochemical EpiPen to save your life. Then there is the chronic, low-grade stress loop that millions of people are trapped in. If you are rushing through your day, constantly tethered to your phone, slamming caffeine to stay focused, and suppressing underlying anxiety, your baseline cortisol never properly drops when the sun goes down. Your nervous system is perpetually stuck in fight-or-flight mode. When you finally collapse into bed, your brain doesn't actually feel safe enough to let its guard down. As your sleep cycles progress and you transition between deep restorative sleep and lighter REM sleep right around 3 a.m., that lingering elevated daytime cortisol easily pushes you over the edge from asleep to completely, frustratingly awake. Your liver also plays a monumental role in this specific time window. According to circadian biology and traditional medicine, between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., your liver is working its absolute hardest to detoxify your bloodstream. If your liver is overburdened by alcohol, processed foods, environmental toxins, or even just the biochemical waste products of chronic daily stress, it severely struggles to process everything efficiently. This metabolic bottleneck creates localized internal inflammation. And inflammation, you guessed it, acts as a systemic stressor that triggers the release of even more cortisol, instantly snapping your eyes open. So how do we fix this? How do we stop the 3 a.m. wake-ups, repair this broken system, and reset your cortisol rhythm naturally? You have to aggressively and consistently signal safety to your biology. The very first step doesn't happen at night. It happens the exact moment you open your eyes in the morning. If you want to sleep peacefully through the night, you have to anchor your morning cortisol peak. Within 30 minutes of waking up, you need to step outside and get natural sunlight in your eyes for at least 10 to 15 minutes, not through a window and absolutely no sunglasses. Direct, natural light exposure hits specific receptors in your eyes and sends a powerful signal straight to the master clock in your brain. This tells your brain that it is undeniably morning, which spikes your cortisol when it's supposed to spike and officially starts a biological timer for melatonin production 14 hours later. This single free habit is the absolute most powerful lever you have to pull your cortisol curve back to where it belongs. Next, you have to stabilize your nighttime blood sugar to completely eliminate the 3 a.m. crash. You need to stop the emergency response before it even has a chance to happen. This means entirely cutting out alcohol, sugar, and heavy refined carbs within 3 hours of your bedtime. Instead, if you are genuinely hungry before bed, you need to eat a strategic blood sugar stabilizing snack. Think a spoonful of unsweetened almond butter, a small handful of walnuts, or a slice of high-quality turkey. You are looking for healthy fats and clean protein. These macronutrients digest incredibly slowly, providing a steady, slow drip of energy to your brain all night long. When your brain has a constant fuel source, it never panics, and it never demands that 3 a.m. cortisol dump. Then, we need to intentionally cool down your nervous system and your physical body. Your core body temperature naturally needs to drop 1 to 2 degrees for you to enter and stay in deep sleep. If your room is too warm, or if you are taking a steaming hot shower right before hopping into bed, your core temperature stays elevated. An elevated core temperature acts as a mild stressor, which keeps cortisol simmering in the background. You need to keep your bedroom freezing cold, optimally right around 65 degrees Fahrenheit. If you love a warm shower to relax, take it an hour or two before bed, not right before. This gives your body time to rapidly cool off afterward, and that rapid drop in temperature is a massive biological trigger for sleepy, restorative hormones. Lastly, we have to address the relaxation mineral magnesium. Chronic stress, excessive caffeine, and a poor diet burn through your body's magnesium stores like a wildfire. When you are deficient in magnesium, your nervous system becomes hyperexcitable and struggles to power down. Taking a high-quality magnesium glycinate supplement about an hour before bed can act like a heavy, calming, weighted blanket for your restless brain. Magnesium glycinate specifically crosses the blood-brain barrier and binds to calming receptors in your central nervous system. It physically lowers systemic cortisol levels and relaxes your muscles, helping you smoothly coast right through that 3 a.m. danger zone without waking up. But the hardest part of permanently fixing the 3 a.m. wake-up is how you handle the actual moment it happens, while you are in the process of healing. Tonight or tomorrow night, if your eyes snap open in the pitch black, the absolute worst thing you can do is grab your phone or look at the clock. The blast of blue light will instantly suppress whatever melatonin you have left, and the anxiety of doing the mental math to figure out how few hours of sleep you have before your alarm goes off will instantly flood your body with adrenaline. Do not toss and turn in frustration, fighting the sheets. You have to break the panic cycle. Tell yourself, My body is safe, my chemistry is just a little confused right now, and I am simply resting. Focus entirely on slowing your breathing to a crawl. Make your exhales twice as long as your inhales. This specific breathing pattern stimulates your vagus nerve and manually forces your heart rate down, telling your brain the emergency is over. Resetting a broken cortisol rhythm takes time and consistency. It will not miraculously happen overnight, but by anchoring your morning light, stabilizing your evening blood sugar, dropping your nighttime temperature, and replenishing your magnesium, you are completely rewiring your fundamental biology. You are finally taking your power back from the stress hormone. You deserve to wake up to your alarm feeling deeply rested, not running from an invisible tiger in the middle of the night. Apply these biological fixes, stay incredibly consistent with them, and watch as your body remembers how to sleep straight through the darkness, all the way until morning.